almost daily Zencast. Hosted by the incorrigible Mr. Zappa. Let's talk Trump.
Greetings and salutations, my fellow Trumptopians and friends and listeners from around the world, globe or flat or otherwise. It is now day 3,299 of global shutdown madness. Of course, I kid. Then again, depends, I mean, it wouldn't be 3,000 days or anything, but if you start counting the beginning from when news broke of stuff going on in China, then we're definitely, several months in. But then again, Trumptopia counts only that which Trumptopia does, I think. And so this COVID-19 madness started approximately 2.5 weeks ago. And all the rest of this is crazy. Hello, good morning, Trumptopia. I am your intrepid, eccentric, admittedly out of left field, unusual, dare I say, enigmatic host, the incorrigible Mr. Zappo. And this is Good Morning Trumptopia. Let's run the numbers. Let's talk about the facts, right? Unless, of course, every source available that we would normally go to as trustworthy and reliable is lying to us. You never know. So I wanted to do that very thing, what I just said, right before the show, and I was like, where would I go if I was an average, ordinary, everyday, no judgment here, just, your every person, stemming from every man, to include every woman and every other variant person, an everyday person, an everyday, ordinary person. Where would I go? Well, arguably, you might just go Google or Bing or what are some of the old ones? Ask Jeeves or Yahoo. Does Yahoo still exist? I think it does, right? But if you wanted to go for reasonably authoritative, the obvious ones that come to mind, especially if you've got a little bit of media exposure to the recent ever increasingly alarmist media coverage of, admittedly, a pretty alarming global pandemic. And you would probably build consensus, I think, if we were to discuss amongst us all, that theoretically, assuming the general, everyday, normal, trust the institutions worldview, that the CDC, the World Health Organization, and Johns Hopkins have put themselves forward as trustworthy, reliable, accurate sources of information. Johns Hopkins having particularly endeavored to aggregate data at every level possible, from what I understand about their project. So let's check it out. First one up, we got the CDC. You guys get like a C- for your splash page, because although the very first links seem like useful information on your menu bar, coronavirus. This is, by the way, for those of you who've never been and don't know what I'm talking about, type in cdc.gov, and you should go straight to, it should autofill with /coronavirus/2019 -ncov/cases -updates /index.html. I'm not seeing any, if I'm a person that wants to know the latest case total in my neighborhood, in my township, in my city, in my country, in the world, this page is useless to me. I don't know what to click on. I guess cases in the U.S., which took me forever to like focus on. It is dead center, and you'd think it'd be the first place my brain went to, my eyes went to, but it wasn't. My eyes scanned the top, and then latest updates. I saw the big bold headline, cases and latest updates, and then other languages, and then this is an emerging, rapidly evolving, this is boilerplate, right? Provided information as it becomes available. CDC is aggressively responding to the global, and I'm not criticizing them for posting it. This is good sound text to have as boilerplate introducing. But then right here, I just want to see the numbers. Give me the total world cases, total U.S. cases, and then a list of the states, right? Because CDC's America, it's not the world, right? It's an American institution. I digress. There's big bars, and there's different things. Okay, great. And then cases and latest updates, there's some of the similar links. Symptoms and testing, if you click on that. But if when I just, oh wait, that address I read you, I was a liar. I think, no, that's where we landed. Okay. Oh, I was a liar. If you just go straight cdc.gov and you don't have that whole / I think I clicked on a link, a media link. You get a whole different splash page, never mind. With that iconic, now ubiquitous, and I don't know if scientifically accurate or not, it's supposed to look like a really high-def, science-y microscope view of one molecule, I suppose, one unit of the virus. And I don't know who, where, what, who made this image, where did it come from, why is it everywhere now? Like, every news agency has got their hands on this. Like, I want it. And I want to put it in stuff. But I think I'll be sued. So on the actual CDC, which, by the way, for anyone listening along who may not be familiar, because you never know, CDC stands for Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. So obviously they're only doing the C from centers, the D from disease, and the C from control. CDC, 24/7, saving lives, protecting people. Trademarked. That's their little subtitle. So no numbers on here. There's symptoms of COVID-19, COVID-19 home care, and how to clean and disinfect your home. And then several other things, news headlines by date. There's apparently a COVID-19 Apple app. Pop that open. There's articles and links and things, but I don't see immediately how do I find out how many people? So before that, where was I before? Fun. I just got asked for a survey. Should I give feedback on the survey live on the air? I'm going to leave that up. Because maybe I do. Oh, wait, can I click on this? No. I kind of right-click on this so I can link it? No, I got to click on it directly. Okay, well, that's fun. Thank you, CDC. Their main splash page, I didn't get any numbers on, right? But I did open the map. That's over here. World map, CDC. You open the world map and you get a world map that's colored in. But there's not a lot of detail. There's no dots. Like in that one media channel has a world map with all kinds of dots. Again, I personally don't know how scientifically accurate that map is. But it's interesting and it's sort of alarming. You're like, if that is a scientifically map, if that is a scientifically accurate map, then that's a little scary looking because those are really big dots. If it's one of those where the dots represent numbers. But if it's just abstract dot art made by some abstract, art renderer that makes fun background art, then no, that's kind of meaningless. I don't know. Good question. No one's asking these important questions of the media. So someday I hope to have the means and the backing to be able to do that and be like, hey, media, here's some real questions I want you guys to answer on the media. There's already a show called On the Media. Don't sue me. The show that already exists called On the Media. And also CDC, please don't sue me either. You did ask me for my feedback. I'm going to give it to you in that survey in just a hot minute, but we're going to make the rounds here first. So that when you open the world map, it's not super helpful because it's not giving you any numbers. If I hover over a country, it doesn't give me any numbers. It has a list of all the countries. And while that was growing, that was useful, like when it was a very small list, you could see how much bigger it had gotten. But now it's just all the places listed in alphabetical order. And that's like most of the world. There's only a few places on this map that are in gray. But like, I really love to get, I want some like numbers. Show me, okay, there is like a link here underneath world map, situation and summary. But I've already had to click like 3 different things. Cases in the U.S. Again, it's like this weird, okay, here we go. Cases of COVID-19 reported in the U.S. by source of exposure. Travel-related, 712. Close contact, 1,326. Under investigation, 83,318. And also, this information is out of date because, as I already know, because I was watching a little bit of television news this morning in between segments, we've already broached some number much larger than that I don't want to venture a guess at because I'll get it wrong. But I digress. So in terms of usefulness, like it's not very reassuring that at the CDC, I don't have like cutting edge top line numbers. Give me like the hardest, like the most, I want ticking up to date numbers. Like you're the CDC, you know who's sick. You're the Santa Claus of pandemics. And if you're not, oh yeah, that's right. Your budget got cut, your staff got slashed because of you're the swamp. I say that with sarcasm for those of you who can't see my face. So not dissing them so much as saying, we really could have a better system overall in place there. Apparently there's an app and we can look at that tab later. Okay, so World Health Organization, quite honestly, the splash page, sort of the same. There's articles, recommendations to prevent tuberculosis. Okay, that's great. I'm not gonna rain on that parade. But okay, there's the next article over is 5 steps to kicking out coronavirus. Great. But I want to know I just woke up and I want to know the newest numbers. There's a quick link, scam alerts. That's awesome. We'll have to do an episode in the future about scams because they are abundant apparently. Don't be scammed either by products that supposedly cure it, because there's no cure as of right now. If those products worked, they wouldn't be selling them to you via whatever scammy channel they found you, or platform or medium. They'd be using them immediately at the front line, right? Just like the Messiah complex. He's not the Messiah, because if he was, he'd be hanging out with the most deadliestly sick. And he'd be healing them for free. But he's not. Okay, so World Health Organization. Where is your awesome information? Okay, in the sort of to the right middle of the page, next to the column of links that has situation updates, research and development, country and technical guidance, advice for healthcare workers, advice for public, and scam alerts. And I wonder what situation updates looks like. But right there in the middle is coronavirus disease, COVID-19 situation dashboard. So I open that. The situation dashboard. That's the page I want. That's the sexy page. So we're going to bookmark this. Right? Podcast this. It's going to go in my podcast this folder. Because we're going to return to this as things continue to unfold. Because I'm inclined to believe, I will share with you right now, this factoid. Because there's a lot of prognostication going on. I don't claim to pretend to know exactly for sure what will happen, but out of all the variables out there, I'm inclined to accept some of the more probable waveform functions likely to unfold are things might get worse before they get better. That's going to be my guess, probably going to be true, et cetera, et cetera. So we're going to be tuning into this. I know that for right now, If all things being equal, given all the predictions, the extreme being President Trump hoping to lift the stay-at-home stuff tomorrow while simultaneously threatening to quarantine New York and 3 other states, which is confusing, right? It's like, we got to get back to work, but I'm going to quarantine the shit out of some people. He's acting erratic, but then again, what's new? I'm committed to the idea that for the next 3 weeks, I'm very unlikely to have work. So here we are. This has been my pet project / fantasy side hustle, in as much as that it's not making me any money, but I hope one day it might. And I want to actually, treat it as a serious bit of public discourse, oratory, performance art, for the purposes of provoking thought and questioning and stimulating the conversation in ways that I don't see the public discourse conversation being stimulated. So, okay, we bookmarked the coronavirus disease COVID-19 situation dashboard as presented by the WHO. I'm sorry, this one is not the WHO. This is the World Health Organization. Okay, so until I find a CDC page that's equivalently useful, we're not going to reference them today. I might poke around some more later, because I want numbers. And the one page we found numbers, arguably, obviously out of date and not particularly useful. So they're not, not throwing any shade their way. I'm going to keep that one because that's we want your feedback. They just, they're busy doing other things, the CDC. That's fine. The World Health Organization has got this going on. John Hopkins, A+, Johns Hopkins, because it is Johns with an S, no apostrophe, Hopkins with an S, no apostrophe, unexplained. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. I've never seen or heard of the name Johns, and as opposed to John, right? Other than in this instance, but I digress. There, you go to, it is, of course, not at their John Hopkins main page, but it is a special page that they've created. If you want to check this out with me, so I'm not bullshitting you. And also drive some numbers there so that at least I was a good influencer and not less likely to get sued. Coronavirus.jhu for Johns Hopkins University .edu /map.html. Okay, and so big red numbers. Total confirmed 710,918. Now, these are confirmed cases by country, region, and sovereignty. Country, region, or sovereignty. And it was last updated 3/29/2020 at 11:39:35 a.m. So that was today, not too long ago. And we know that it has impacted 177 countries or regions. We also know that the total number of deaths is 33,551, according to Johns Hopkins. Let's take a moment right now for a brief moment of silence, honestly. I believe in those things as ritual and as power of focused attention. So please, I humbly invite you, as we sort of get to midway through the show, join me for a brief moment of silence for all those who have passed away recently. Not just those who passed away recently because of this epidemic, but in general, because according to, as we jump to our third and final reference page that I'm going to be referencing. I've already referenced them before, but according to worldometers.info, deaths today, as of today, are estimated by artificial intelligence to be currently totaling at 205,440, 50, 60, 70. It just keeps totaling up. So that's not COVID-19 deaths. That's deaths overall, as calculated by the secret and supposedly analytically fair and non-cheating like AI behind Worldometer. which I think I already read a thing on, right? But we'll read a little bit more about them when we come back. Let's take a moment. I had to clear the building, like, congestion in my throat. Not congestion, I'm not sick. But when you talk and you start getting that, like, frog build. Okay, forgive me. That was awkward and totally inappropriate for the moment. In all sincereness, in all sincerity, in all earnestness and sincerity, and despite whatever weak and horrible attempts at comedy and levity, let's take a moment right now, please, to just pause and have a moment of silence for all those who've passed away for all the reasons that they have today and in recent days, and just to honor them. On that note, it's interesting, and it begs the question, why exactly? Other than the obvious statistical variance and paperwork nuance, and the nuances of paperwork, and how something is being measured by different groups of people, there is an interesting and slightly noticeable difference in the number of, quote, confirmed deaths on our three different selected sources, as the ones that would seem supposedly up and up and authoritative, presuming all the best things that could be presumed about the world. So according to the World Health Organization, we've got 29,957. Johns Hopkins places total confirmed deaths at 33,551. And Worldometer pegs it at 32,146. Oh, by the way, visual graphic note, John Hopkins, you've got something going on with your color scheme that I would totally recommend you change. Just because it's potentially alarming and frightening and misleading. You're on the map in the center of the screen, you've got these red dots everywhere. And then to the left, which is the next first place that people go, they either start all the way at the left or they start in the middle and go to the left. Visually, in terms of how we scan documents and pages and screens and stuff. You've got a number in red and then a list of numbers going down. And it doesn't say what. It just says total confirmed. It doesn't say total confirmed cases, total confirmed, and then in white, over to the right of the map. In white, you've got total deaths, and in green, you've got total recovered. Humbly, I may recommend to you that it would be psychologically more beneficial to have the green number in the leftmost column in a brighter green. This is like a weird, dingy olive green. Perk it up a little bit, make it a little bit more greeny green, like, shamrock green. And then that column that has the total number of confirmed cases by country, region, or sovereignty should say confirmed cases or total confirmed cases. I know, 3 words. But it should be yellow, and so should be your splotchy dots on the world map. And it should be all the way over to the right. And then where deaths are, it should remain there. And it should be in red. I humbly propose. That's all. Just because it would read clear. I was like, when I first jumped on the page earlier, I was like, oh wow, that's a lot of people dead. I'm like, wait a minute, no, that's just the people confirmed sick. Deaths are a lot lower. So you don't want to scare people. Also, yeah, a top-down configuration like the WHO has got it is a little bit less confusing. If we might also humbly recommend to you JH. What does that remind me of? Oh, that's a line in Brazil. Here I am, JH, the ghost in the machine. How weird. That was random. Anyways, and then those aren't even the right letters, right? He says something else in the movie. GG or HG or whatever the guy's name's initials are. Wow, that was a random poll. Sorry. So the Johns Hopkins, that's my critique of that. Although thank you for having actual numbers and other meaningful information. There's a scale of confirmed cases over time, I think. Yeah. Which is great. And then it shows it to you in different graph forms. I think the daily increase graph is really informative if you understand what that means. That each bar is one daily dose of new cases, not the overall total. Like, that's fascinating. Yeah, World Health Organization, your guys' map is slightly less informative. Oh, there's apparently a server problem with the list. So a list of countries and territories is not available because of increased activity. Please try again in 30 seconds to refresh your dashboard. Okay, let's refresh it. There we go. Countries, areas, or territories with cases. United States of America, 103,321 cases. Italy's next with 92,472. China is now trailing behind in third place, which is great, right? With 82,356 cases. We were talking about that before, about how as the numbers change, so does like the ranking in terms of like what's happening and what's good and what's horrible. In terms of total cases, the top several countries are now, according to, because I have to go back over here to Worldometer. That's worldometers.info/coronavirus. Easiest title to type in, too. All the other ones got crazy-ass links. This one, easy to type in. And as the handy-dandy chart, as we can either click on now or yesterday. I like yesterday because it's got like whole complete numbers. Like we know that it's more than an estimate. But let's go with what's happening as of right now. As of right now, the top leading countries in terms of total cases, not new case day by day, but total cases: USA, Italy, China, Spain, Germany, Iran, France, UK, Switzerland, Netherlands, Belgium, South Korea, Austria, Turkey, Portugal, Canada, Norway, Austria, Brazil, Israel, Sweden, Czechia, Malaysia, Ireland, Denmark, Chile, Luxembourg, Ecuador, Poland, Romania, Japan, Russia. Russia is down here. Only 1,534 total reported cases. Pakistan, Philippines, Thailand, Saudi Arabia, Indonesia, Finland, South Africa, Greece, Iceland, India with only 987 reported cases. Although I heard secondhand that there's some reporting coming out of India that cops are roaming the streets with bamboo rods to beat people if they're out, because they're like going hardcore with their stay-at-home orders. Apparently, I haven't confirmed this, so I'm not trying to be a weak link source of fake news. I was just shared that conversationally with someone in real life, face to face. So I just wanted to share that and acknowledge it for what it is, essentially hearsay at this point. I will look into it. But the numbers I'm getting, I wish that the other two sites had lists like this. Well, I mean, Johns Hopkins does. Confirmed cases by country, region, sovereignty: U.S., Italy, China, Spain, Germany, France, Iran, UK. So it flows down pretty much along the same and has very similar numbers, apparently. The lowest, the countries with the fewest reported cases, starting at the very bottom of the list: Timor-Leste, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Papua New Guinea, St. Kitts and Nevis, all those with 2 or less. So, there's a few more. Zandam, Guinea-Bissau, Belize, Somalia, Liberia, Gambia, and Chad and Central African Republic all have 3 or fewer reported cases. Lucky them. And so we don't. There we go. It refreshed. I think this one is also cascading down to lowest cases. So yes, from most cases to lowest. What I like about, and they seem to be consistent. Let's go at cases according to the 3 tabs. According to WHO. All right, I'm going to close these at the 2 tabs. CDC. Oh no, I'm saving you, CDC, because I'm going to give you that thing. According to this tab, 103,321. Sorry, I did that before. So this Johns Hopkins has got 135,499, and World O-Meters has got, for the U.S. total cases, 123,828. So that's interesting. Some interesting variants. I like this page. You can click on the columns, and there's multiple columns here. Not just total cases, new cases for today. This is where we get some insight. I think over time, on a day-to-day comparison, new cases for today, Spain leads the list with 5,562 estimated by World O-Meters. Iran is in second place with over 2,000, almost 3,000. The UK, about 2,400. Belgium, 1,000, right? In terms of overall total deaths, at this point, the leader stands Italy with over 10,000, just barely. Spain comes in second with 6,528. China, 3,300. Iran, France, and the U.S. all trail behind. The U.S. has got 2,229. Now, new deaths day over day, according to this list, Spain is leading the way, then with 546. The UK with 209. Netherlands with 132. Iran, Belgium, Switzerland, Germany, Portugal dropping down to less than 20 a day. In Indonesia and the USA with less than 10. USA at 8. So I review those numbers not to make light of anything, not to I took a moment to pause and respect those who've passed. I make the effort to share these numbers from these different sources, setting aside any criticism that they might all be a hoax or part of the New World Order, etc., setting aside all conspiracy theory considerations about them, because they are in many ways, of course, consistent with what's being reported on the news, given whatever normal give or take in the variants. It's not wildly, crazily off. No one's reporting exaggeratedly larger or scarier numbers than anybody else, and it really does help to grant some perspective, and also to sort of, as we chronicle day to day, week to week progress, to really see, for the purposes of being, a show that makes social commentary, really lay down some, not only for our current, in the moment listening, but for posterity, for future listeners who might, dig this up to check it out. Knock on wood that, the show goes into obscurity. God forbid. I hope the show gets picked up and becomes, not that I desire fame, but rather I would love for this to be my career, as I have said many times on the show, because I'm pretty transparent about that. Because one of the things that is going on in social media that we must be vigilant about is wild exaggeration and really harebrained, over the top, in my opinion, slightly sloppy and obvious fear-mongering conspiracy theories that really reek of being psyop, in my humble opinion, more than they lend themselves towards any credence as any sort of, earnestly developed civilian observation-based, attempt at a kind of genuine theory about what's going on. And if you have not heard it yet and you're curious about my opinion, do check into Pick a Lane, the episode titled Pick a Lane. I kind of ramble about it incoherently there, and I'll probably come full circle again, as I've said before, on many a subject, and talk about it some more again in a future episode. But for now, friends, because time and my rambling imagination have once again made it impossible for me to keep this show under 30 minutes, I'm going to thank you humbly for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for supporting the show. Thank you for binge listening and recommending it to your friends right now during Global Lockdown Madness 2020. And thank you for tracking me down finally on social media and beginning to engage and ask questions. And I humbly invite you to tune in as I, for realsies this time, I think, God forbid I can't get around to doing it, knock on wood, actually implementing more fully all the stuff I've been sort of pipe dream talking about with the reboot and the updrafting of the previous episodes. As always, it has been my pleasure to share my sometimes incoherent thoughts at you, and I hope that eventually, someday, with a little bit of more of updrafting and a little bit more of discourse back and forth between us, you, dear listeners, myself as the host of the show, that we get to a place where the show makes the most sense possible and is also the most entertaining possible for everyone tuning in. Until that time, or until the asteroid wipes us all out, taking us out of our collective miseries once and for all, I beg you, stay safe, stay healthy, stay kind, because that matters a lot right now. Stay grounded, stay mindful, and stay connected to your spiritual practices. And if you don't have any, start building them. And stay connected to the people around you. Stay connected to your community. Be a good human during these challenging times, as if that weren't obvious enough. And now, to end on what will hopefully be an entertaining up note, a little bit of music from my fictional realm, the world of literature that I'm drafting. This is Electro Swing 101 Remix, Relivin' Them Roaring 20s, DJ Z, The Early Years, Volume 3, a little bit of imaginary loop-de-loop music that will be featured as an embedded thing in an upcoming chapter of not Blank Slate, which one is it? 0 Hour. Until next time, I have been the ever eccentric and ever so unable to keep my episodes shorter than 40 minutes host, the incorrigible Mr. Zeppo. get up and dance.